Welcome to Bootcampverse, your universe of tech boot camps. Good morning and welcome back. You've made it to day 11 of the Code2Corporate boot camp. Today, we're kicking off week 3, and our focus is all about real-world workflows. Before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly recap what we covered last week. You learned how teams use tools like Jira and Agile boards to manage projects, how to set up your coding environment with IDEs and debugging tools, got hands-on with web basics like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, built your first back-end APIs, and even explored databases. All these are the building blocks for modern applications. But here's the thing. In the real world, these applications, APIs, and databases usually don't run on someone's laptop or a dusty computer under the desk. They live in the cloud. So, what exactly is cloud computing, and why is it such a big deal in tech today? Let's break things down in the simplest way possible. Imagine you need electricity at home. Do you set up your own power plant? No, you just plug into the grid and pay for what you use. Cloud computing works the same way for IT resources. Instead of owning and maintaining expensive servers and data centers, you rent computing power, storage, and services from a cloud provider, and you only pay for what you use. This is what we mean by the cloud. It's like a utility for technology. Cloud computing is the dearest of computing services. Servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and even artificial intelligence over the internet or the cloud. The magic is that you can access these resources on demand, scale them up or down instantly, and avoid the huge upfront costs of buying hardware. You only pay for what you use, just like your electricity bill. So, what are the key benefits of cloud computing? First, cost savings. You don't need to invest in physical servers or data centers up front. Second, scalability. If your app suddenly gets popular and you need more power, you can scale up instantly. If you don't need as much, you scale down and save money. Third, elasticity. The cloud automatically adjusts resources to handle sudden spikes in traffic, so your app doesn't crash when you're trending. Fourth, reliability and availability. Your data is often stored in multiple locations, so you're protected if something goes wrong. Fifth, global reach. You can deploy your application closer to users around the world for faster performance. Sixth, agility. You can spin up new services and resources in minutes, not weeks. And finally, you can focus on building great applications instead of worrying about managing hardware. Now, let's talk about Amazon Web Services, or AWS. AWS is the world's most popular and widely adopted cloud platform. It offers hundreds of services covering everything from compute and storage to databases, analytics, machine learning, networking, developer tools, and a whole lot more. Why do so many companies use AWS? It's proven, reliable, and has a massive global footprint. AWS operates data centers in regions all over the world. Each region has multiple availability zones, which are separate data centers designed for high availability and disaster recovery. This means your applications and data can be deployed close to your users, and they stay available even if something happens to one part of the system. Let's look at 3 foundational AWS services that you'll encounter everywhere: EC2, S3, and IAM. First up is Amazon EC2, or Elastic Compute Cloud. Think of EC2 as renting a virtual computer in the cloud. If you need a server to run your web application, process data or host a database, you can launch an EC2 instance in just a few clicks. You choose the size and type of instance you need, just like picking the right laptop for your work. If you need more power, you upgrade. If you need less, you downgrade. EC2 makes it easy to match your resources to your workload. That's why companies of all sizes use EC2 to run their websites, back-end services, and business-critical applications. Next is Amazon S3, or Simple Storage Service. S3 is like a giant, secure, high-speed cloud hard drive. You can store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. For developers, S3 is the go-to solution for storing website assets like images and videos, backups, and even data lakes for analytics. If you've ever used Google Drive or Dropbox, S3 is the cloud version for applications and big data. Your data in S3 is stored as objects inside buckets, and AWS automatically takes care of redundancy and durability, so your files are safe and available when you need them. The third key service is AWS IAM, or Identity and Access Management. Security is everything in the cloud, and IAM is your control panel for who can access what inside AWS. With IAM, you create users, groups, and roles, and assign specific permissions using policies. The principle of least privilege is important here. Only give people and applications access to the resources they absolutely need and nothing more. IAM helps you protect your cloud resources from accidental or malicious access, which is critical for any organization. So, how does all this fit into the corporate workflow? Here's a simple example. When a development team builds an application, they deploy it to EC2 instances in the cloud. The app's images, videos, and backups are stored in S3. Developers, testers, and automation tools get access to the right resources using IAM permissions. The cloud also powers other workflows like continuous integration and deployment, CI/CD, automated testing, logging, and analytics, all topics we'll dive into soon. Everything you learned last week about web development, APIs, and databases runs on cloud infrastructure like AWS in the real world. This is where companies build, test, and deploy products at scale. And as you move further in your tech journey, understanding these cloud basics will make you more valuable and job-ready. To wrap up, let's recap. Cloud computing lets you rent IT resources on demand, saving you money and boosting your flexibility. AWS is the leading cloud provider, and its core services, EC2 for compute, S3 for storage, and IAM for access control, are used everywhere. Tomorrow, we'll explore deployment and CI/CD basics, and you'll see how cloud platforms like AWS are the destination for these automated workflows. Here's your action item. Head over to the AWS website, check out the documentation for EC2, S3, and IAM, and if you're feeling adventurous, sign up for the free tier to explore the console. Just remember to be careful with what you launch. Always monitor your usage to avoid unexpected costs. If you have questions about anything we covered today, drop them in the comments and we'll tackle them together. Don't forget to subscribe to Bootcampverse for more real-world learning that takes you from zero to job ready.